We've had some really good family church times recently, and particularly in the last one, we came to the end and there's a real sort of sense of, a kind of weighty satisfaction when something has been fruitful and it's worked well, and there's been a connection in there between us and with God as well. There's a satisfaction and a peaceful weight to it. And really that's what we are looking to be the fruit of family church when we get together in this way and do church as a family like this. I thought the title for this one could be Connection is the Antidote to Religion. And religion there being the kind of negative type of religion that is doing performance and rituals, but without relationship with God or faith or love or truth being there. In Matthew, Jesus talks about how people give their offerings and worship, and in Matthew chapter 5:23, he says, if you're going to give an offering, like in those days it was into the temple, but you're giving a gift to God, but actually you've got some broken relationship with your brother or sister, don't just carry on and do the act of worship. Because if you do, you're kind of straying into hypocrisy, empty religion. Instead, wait, go and find your brother and sister, sort things out between you, and then offer your act of worship. And that we kind of think of when we see the time of Jesus written about in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You see the Pharisees, the religious people who do all the right thing. They did the performance so often, and they tick all the boxes about taking the right steps and so on, but there's something really missing, isn't there? There's the heart isn't there, the love. They don't even get Jesus, they don't even see who he is. And it's easy for us to fall into kind of religious patterns and behaviours that are empty of faith and life and love. And so it's really important when we meet as families to connect. And I would say that connection is probably the most important thing that we're trying to do. And sometimes you can have the sense of that the show's got to go on. I've planned this, we've planned these, this is what it's going to look like, and it's gone wrong already. And I think I'd say at that point, if there's one of you in the family kicks off in some way or is offended or whatever, don't just try and charge through that and disregard that because we've got to get through what we've planned. Instead, stop, look to rebuild relationship, and that might involve saying sorry. It might involve just being really kind and giving them some space. Maybe they're very sad for some reason, and take a moment to recognise that. And I'd like to just talk about three things here to do with connection, particularly in light of family church. And the first one is an encouragement to go slowly. And for many of us, this is a really new thing to be doing. Perhaps we've never connected with our children spiritually like this before, and it's unusual. Perhaps, just having a peaceful meal without arguments is actually really difficult and unusual and doesn't happen. So therefore to move into a place of vulnerably sharing your faith together can feel a long way away. And I'd encourage you not to feel you've got to rush into this. Don't feel you've got to try and get to some sort of perfect state straight away, but take small steps and go low. Just work on having peaceful meals as a starter. So don't feel you need to rush. This is a long and slow build of establishing relationship and over time. So that's the first point with connection. Second one is I think the kind of environment that we're creating here in family church is not a kind of school environment where we're looking for children to get the right answers and perform. I love the idea. You need to see what's the design for your setting. But personally, I love the idea about actually we're all coming to this to worship, to connect with God together. It's not the parent or parents, putting something on for the children, the child or the children. But we're in this together, and so obviously as parents, we are in a place of seniority over the children. It's wrong for us to say we're their mates and we just we need to take a lead, and that's appropriate and right, isn't it? That's good parenting, healthy parenting, parent-child relationships. But at the same time, we can be learners together, and we can be in this together. And I think something around that, creating that kind of atmosphere, is a healthy thing. So my second point on connection is we're not creating a school environment where we're keeping them all in good shape. This is a softer, warmer space where we're all connecting with God and each other together. And then the third one, a few thoughts really on how to connect. And I think some things that we've found helpful as a church over many years. One of them is kindness, and being kind and being giving space to each other is a big way to start connecting. And for us, we do our family church around a meal, and I do the food for that meal. And I always do I've started doing my best cooking, so I'll go the extra mile in terms of cooking. I want to make a meal that's really special for everyone. We do normally just drink water at our meals, but for family church we have a nice juice or smoothie or something like that for the children, and we might have some wine for us, and so we kind of, and that's part of being kind. It's part of treating the family really well. I think another thing as well is being vulnerable and being humble, and we know that's being honest about who we are and so on. And so there's been times when I've said sorry to my family for ways that I've messed up, and I've confessed my sin and my brokenness to my family, and maybe sharing some of our stories, some of our personal stories about how we've come to follow Jesus or things that God has done. All of these, particularly if they're offered in a vulnerable way, can be powerful ways that we can connect as family in a family church setting. So those are three things on connection. Let's go slow on this. Don't try and build Rome in a day, kind of thing. Just do a small step at a time and celebrate the small steps. If you just don't do anything that you planned, but you connect with each other as a family, then celebrate that as being an achievement, and that's good enough. Actually, I remember a few times I've heard people just in the past say, I was in a really bad place, so I couldn't go to church for quite a long time. And I thought, isn't that sad? It should be that when we're in a bad place, the place that feels best and safest to us is church, is God, is our Christian brothers and sisters. And this is part of what we're trying to build here. We're trying to create family spaces where we can be real with each other, we can be honest with each other. We haven't got to go away and hide and then come back and perform. That is an empty religion. That's not the way of Jesus. The way of Jesus is we can be totally real with who we are, and he's good and he's kind, and we meet him in that place of honest and real connection. Great, so our next little video on this of these is going to be on some ideas around content, and that'll be the next video. But for now, we'll finish that on connection. Bless your family church. I hope and pray that it's a place of life and encouragement for you and for your children, that they may grow up to know and love the adventure of faith that is following Jesus.